Crabs are a very important part of the world's ecosystems. They all perform vital roles wherever they live, between the blue crabs of the Chesapeake Bay to the king crabs of Alaska, to the fiddler crabs that live behind my mom's house that I tried to get footage of while writing this script. But instead, all I found was this severed pincher claw and a cottonmouth viper, so you'll just have to pretend like I took some footage back there. My friend Danny went to my Discord server and suggested that I unbind the W and S keys and then tried to beat a game by walking sideways like a crab. I was all in, and as you can see, I even suggested we use the bear trap fist as our claw. Side note, if you want to suggest a video idea for yourself, the link to join the Discord server is in the links down in the description. We would love to have you. Given that evolution is slowly turning every type of organism into a crab, since it is apparently the ultimate body type, I wanted to see if this Chadley creature could survive in an area that is known for crabs of a different kind. Can you beat Fallout New Vegas as a crab? I plucked out the W and S keys from my keyboard, began the game, and you know, when people wake up and say they feel crabby, usually they mean something else, but this human-shaped crustacean wakes up from a gunshot wound with a splitting headache, and he is out for blood. What's worse, we are clawless, and we are going to have to find a weapon to defend ourselves in the worst place on Earth, the Sierra Madre Casino. Could I have given myself the weapon with console commands? Yeah. Am I going to? No. This is now a double challenge. Can you beat Fallout New Vegas and the Dead Money DLC as a crab? I try to come up with a clever name for this crab-man hybrid, but since I'm missing two very common letters in the alphabet from my keyboard, I just name him Eugene, since Mr. Krabs has an S at the end. Mr. Krabs is going to try and steal every last ounce of gold from that casino, or die trying. We head to the Vigor Tester, which is already grueling, and then pick out our stats. 10 Strength, because crabs be lifting. Low Perception, because crabs can't see very far distance-wise. 10 Endurance, because of their hard shell. 1 Charisma, because look at them. 2 Intelligence, because although crabs are dumb, they're not that dumb. Studies have shown that they can remember the path of a maze even after a few days. I buff Agility and leave Luck at 5 as well. I struggle to pick up the items around Doc Mitchell's and head to the couch, then select Unarmed, duh. Repair, because fiddler crabs can regrow their limbs, and that's basically what we are. And Barter, because Mr. Krabs likes money. We pick Heavy-Handed and Wild Wasteland as our traits, and then head out into the wasteland to make our way to the bunker. Navigation is difficult, and we almost get killed by super mutants using the Black Mountain shortcut, but we make it past them and over to Helios 1, where we avoid some Cazadors to make it to the BOS bunker. It is there where we get knocked out and taken to the Sierra Madre. We wake up, run past some ghost people who we cannot fight yet, and make it to the police station. Here we have a little bit of trouble with the radios, and I actually called Danny to ask him if he'd be okay if I used a gun only to blow up radios because it doesn't hurt any enemies. And he brought up the gun mode from Another Crab's Treasure, so I allowed it. I also found a cosmic knife, and it reminded me of the video of the crab using a knife against a human, so I thought it might be okay to use it in combat until we got our bear trap fist. But I realized that as soon as we released God/Dog, we wouldn't have to. He kills a ghost person for us, we grab our new weapon, and it's actually really effective due to the high limb damage, instantly crippling some ghost people with one strike, which instantly kills them. This DLC is not nearly as bad as Old World Blues was at level 1. I got God/Dog to the town square and ended the stream there. Upon restarting the stream, our next member of the heist crew was Dean Domino. We dodged or set off multiple traps on the way to get him. Then, since God kept saying the same voice lines over and over, and we have almost no points in any of the skills to pass the skill checks due to our low level, I decide that I'm going to spare Dean and kill God Dog in this run, which is usually the opposite of what I do. But Dean was actually being unusually charming in this run. I take Dean with me to get Christine, which is largely uneventful, except for when I got to level 4 and took the cannibal perk, which cannot be used on ghost people, but it will be used later. Trust me. Now that we have everyone together, I take God/Dog to his place, feed him with ghost people remains, and I realize that trying to get on his good side is kind of like those scenes in Thor Ragnarok where Thor's like,
honest friend, I prefer you.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
What about me? You're not my friend.
No, I don't even like the Hulk. He's all like, smash. I prefer you.
I also miss the HD springs for my bear trap fist, and I feel like an idiot now while writing this script. Laugh it up, I know. I'm an idiot. We then do Dean's part and turn on the security holograms because we're being extra nice to him. Christina's next, and we lack the repair skill to fix this junction box, so we get a little lost finding the fuses, but eventually we do. I'm usually playing with a higher repair skill most of the time, so I'm not used to looking for them. We are accosted by a laser turret as we try to set up the remote workstation, but luckily I found a BAR and gave it to Christine so she can blow it up. She gets in position, and I hold her hand without pinching it with my claw, so now she thinks I'm awesome. I head to my station and get lost again in Puesta del Sol because I forgot where Salida del Sol is. I know crabs can memorize mazes, but I definitely can't. I fight through the ghost people while getting lost again until I trigger the gala event, then get knocked out and have to deal with my crewmates. Dog and God are first, I repair 2 valves, and then Dog starts doing his suicide animation. I rush over to him and begin the fight. He stops and triggers his dialogue for the middle of the fight. Then I repair the last valve as he's coming at me before I kill him and book it out of there. Dean is next, and this is the first time I've ever spared that prick. However, this will be a boon later. Christine is last, and I sneak through the hotel rooms to get to her, and she helps me get into the vault, which is an absolute fucking nightmare. There are speakers and holograms and poison gas and catwalks and platforming, and it really sucks to get through when you can only navigate the area by moving side to side. However, we eventually get to the vault, and I spend a long time trying to live up to Mr. Krabs' example and steal all that beautiful, beautiful gold. However, our sneak stat is just too low, and Elijah sees us coming instantly, so we have to leave the gold and kill him the normal way. Dean and Christine help out, and he's surprisingly squishy, although upon reflection he is just an old man in a robe, so I can imagine a bear trap might do some serious damage. It takes a few attempts to parkour my way out of there, but I eventually do and make it to the elevator without blowing up, and that's the end of Dead Money. I take the spoils of my adventure and sell them to Chet, Cliff Briscoe, and the arms trader at the 188 trading post. I thought about bringing Veronica along since her power fist would kind of be like a mantis shrimp's fist, but I thought better of it and decided to go on my own. We head to the monorail, and I swap shells like a hermit crab to blend in with the soldiers using the bandolier armor from the dead soldier at the Black Mountain shortcut. We head to the tops, and if you've ever been to a casino, they usually have an all-you-can-eat buffet included, and usually those buffets have crab legs. And remember how I took that cannibal perk back at level 4, but I couldn't use it against the ghost people? Let's just say it's time to get revenge for all my crab brothers and show the denizens of the Tops Casino what it's like to be dined upon. Cue the music! after my vicious rampage, I finally had the Dine and Dash perk, and I could bring human remains with me whenever I wanted. I started talking to Yes Man, and he told me I should go kill Mr. House. However, I wanted the Piercing Strike perk first to help me deal with the Securitrons, so I went to the White Gloves Casino. These guys have a similar taste in dining to myself, so I decided I would try and help Mortimer, since I have the dialogue option to tell him that I also enjoy the other white meat. But as I try to leave the area, I get an infinite loading screen, and I have to shut off my PC to get it to stop, thus ending an almost 5-hour recording session. I boot up our last stream, and I start trying to convince Ted to be a good boy, but the wiki lied to me and said I could avoid the topic with no skill check or anything, when in reality, you need a speech check for that. I then had to use my knife for the first time to kill Ted, which is allowed, but it made me feel dirty. Mortimer is happy and introduces cannibalism to the White Gloves off screen, and then we go to Gamora. We kill everything inside except for the cashier. In earlier runs, I used VATS to get into his room and kill him, but I couldn't get back out again, so unfortunately he gets to live. I then get the perk that I want so that I can go break into House's shit, but we probably didn't even need the perk for that. But, you know what, I got to kill some Securitrons before I break in and eat House. Dry-aged meat. Delicioso. I then go get Yes Man installed, do a Duolingo lesson while he demonstrates the Mark II firmware, then head to the fort to install the chip and create my robot army because, as we all know, robots don't eat crabs, so they are the perfect allies for our takeover of this city. After that, it's time to meet some factions and ignore them. First up, Brotherhood. Veronica lets us in, and we decide to leave them alone because, like us, they are armored individuals who live underground. We also ignore the cons and the boomers because what would a crab need with a bunch of Mongol LARPers? And then also I don't want to go claw to claw with any death claws. No, thank you. We also ignore the president because he sucks, and I bet he also eats crabs. So the Legion promptly takes him out off screen as well. We use our NCR shell one more time to override the El Dorado substation, and then it's time for the dam. And this part was pretty easy. Our Securitron buddies cover us pretty well as we devour the Legion bodies. Then we head into the dam, turn on the power for our army, then make it to the other side of the dam where we gather up some meat for the fight against Lanius. We make it up to him one time and force him down the hill, but then his buddies gank us so hard that we die and we have to go all the way back to the beginning of the camp. This time, we start punching before his dialogue to skip it, and then take any chems or food items that will help us against Lanius, and we get some colossal damage on him. We do get a little bit ganked, but luckily Lanius comes back and starts blowing up his own guys with his grenades. Then he makes the foolish mistake of getting within claw distance, so we pinch him to death and eat his corpse like his name was Amelia Earhart. We then head down to General Oliver, and since I don't have the speech skill to have Yes Man throw him over the edge and into our new crab hatchery that we installed into Lake Mead, unfortunately we have to kill Oliver ourselves, then start eating him as Yes Man interrupts our feast to tell us, yes, we can beat Fallout New Vegas and Dead Money as a crab. Thank you all very much for watching. I know it's been a minute since the last big edited video. Sorry about that. I had to worry about finals, and then also my computer crashed literally the same week. It was really frustrating. Anywho, I appreciate your patience. Please leave a like on the video, and just for fun, let's leave some crab facts in the comments. If I like your fact, I'll put a heart on your comment, and my favorite crab fact will be the pinned comment for the video. Let's get cracking! Thank you all one more time for watching the video here to the end. Remember to check out the Discord if you want to suggest a video. I will credit you if I use your idea. Also, check out our podcast if you want to hear more from Danny. He's a fun dude. You guys are all awesome, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace!